I am Davey Wavy, and I'm here with the one, the only, Michael Buckley.
I hope there's only one of me. That would be, oh my God. Please. No one like you. You're indelible. Broke the mold.
I think I'd almost be better off with the half of you.
Oh, thank you. You're the sweetest. Here's 3/4. I love you more.
So I wanted to have you on today because you've had... First of all, we want to talk about sex. That's all we talk about.
All we talk about is sex. We just talk about sex.
We just made a video about it.
We just made a video for my channel about sex, and we're sitting by the pool talking about sex. We're having lunch talking about sex. The moment I met Davey and I had just seen his videos, and I was just like, all I want to talk about is sex with you. And I'd never had a gay friend before properly to talk about sex with, and I was like a late 30-year-old something, so I was like just so drawn to you. I'm like, talk to me about sex.
Yes.
And now here we are like 3 or 4 years later, and we do talk about other things, but not really.
Yeah,
I'm lying.
really,
then we talk about sex.
Only in the context of sex.
The context of sex, yes.
So when I met you, you were married, you were in a monogamous relationship.
I was.
And now you are not.
I'm not. I'm very, no.
I would say that you have a lot of sex. You're very sexually liberated.
I have more sex than 90% of the people in the world, I would imagine. 99%.
And with more people.
I have sex with lots of people, yes.
I feel like you've had a sexual awakening.
I have.
You're on a journey.
I'm on a journey, and the thing is, my first boyfriend in college was 4 years monogamous. That was it. And then I got married at 26, and so from age 26 to 39, monogamous. The thought of even having a threesome with my husband was like, no! So, I mean, I wasn't even thinking in terms of like that. And the moment I became single, I kind of had to give thought with how do I see my next chapter of my life and what do I want? And it's funny because I know eventually when I settle down again, I will want some sort of monogamous, like mostly us relationship. Threesomes for my birthday, threesomes because we went to London or Amsterdam and there was a bathhouse. But in general, I don't think so this is a very educational time of my single life. But yes, I'm having heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps of sex.
What flipped the switch for you? Like, how did you go from that monogamous relationship to being like, you know what, I really want to dive in and explore this?
It's funny because I stopped drinking last year and it's mental stuff. Like, I feel like I saw myself as a drinker, so I drank alcohol. I saw myself as a monogamous homebody, committed to one-man person, and then the moment I wasn't married anymore, I was like, I don't see myself that way. I see myself dating multiple people. I see myself having multiple partners of sex, and I had such judgment and stigma. As a married person, too, I remember seeing other married couples, and if they had like a threesome or a foursome or an open marriage, I remember having a lot of judgment towards that and thinking, oh, well, that's sad, or, oh, they don't love each other. I don't really mental drama that I've gotten rid of all that mental drama because I see everybody so differently, and I see marriages differently, and what we want as human beings is different. And so at 40 years old, I kind of had to stop and get off autopilot of just, oh, I'm going to have a boyfriend, and we're going to have sex, and I'm going to get married, and I'm going to commit to you forever. And like, let's just enjoy single life, and let's enjoy sex. And I will say also, I came up with the idea, I need to have sex for the sake of having sex. I always had sex with the sake of getting a boyfriend or the sake of bagging a husband, and I'd never gone out with the sake of just, well, I'm going to go have sex. To practice, too. That was another thing. As a recently single person at 39 or 40 who had only had sex with one person for so long, I wasn't sure how I was in bed. I was probably a lazy top and a lazy bottom, and I probably didn't really have high sex skills, so I spent like a lot of 2015 and 16 like, I need to practice, man. I need to get to be a better top. I need to be a more comfortable bottom. So, I mean, I set it as a goal to become better at sex. So that was a lot of it, too, because I love goal setting.
Isn't it funny that we spend, like, so much time, like, we go to school to expand our understanding of, you know, academics and knowledge. We play sports, we go to the gym to expand our physical endurance and abilities. But, like, most people, when it comes to their sexuality and sex, just kind of, like, skip it over. But it's a whole aspect of who you are that's really fucking fun to explore.
And important, because I feel like a lot of marriages and relationships fall apart because people don't communicate, or they think their partner can read their mind and be like, well, surely you'll know how to satisfy me. No! Tell me! What do you like? So, I mean, I also make such a point now as an older person, older, 42, but I do feel older in terms of, like, if I'm having sex with someone, I want them to know they're good in bed. Like, I actually had sex with a 26, 27-year-old the other day rugby player, muscular, amazing looking, no concept of how adorable they were. And that's, again, being young and just like, he just doesn't know how. He had only had sex with 6 people in his entire life. And so we had sex, and he was like, sent me like a page-long thank you note afterwards because I made him feel so comfortable with himself. And he was just nice to be around someone who was so open about sex. And I said to him, I'm like, you're really good in bed. Go out there and have sex. And he needed that, like, kind of reaffirming, because he even said to me, I'm like, why don't you have more sex? He goes, I don't think I'm very good at it. I'm like, well, let's practice. Right. So, I mean, I set you off in the world, like, go have sex, man. You're good. If ever I have sex with someone, I'm always reinforcing them after. I'm like, you are amazing in bed. Like, go have sex. I was getting fucked by a bottom the other day, and it was so amazing. And halfway through, I said, I can tell you are such a good bottom, and that's what makes you a good top, because you're such a good bottom as a top, you know exactly what to do. So again, like, I just love that. I love just communicating during sex and like reinforcing, like, you know what you're doing, man. Keep going. Like, good job. So men need encouragement.
Yes. If you had to sum up like one thing that you've learned, like in your sexual exploration, in this journey, this adventure, what do you think is the most important thing that you've learned either about yourself or sex in general?
The most important thing that I've learned about myself is that I'm way more open-minded than I thought I was. I had a script in my head about the way I was supposed to be in life and how I was supposed to conduct myself personally, emotionally, sexually, financially, whatever. And now I'm open to many more options and many more versions of myself. So I'm really grateful that sex has played a role in that. The one thing I think I've learned about sex the most is that, be open to the fact that you're going to change every 5-10 years and want different things and need different things, and that's okay. And some days you're more, and again, being a totally verse person as I am, it's like some days I'm more of a top, some days I'm more of a bottom, some days I want to see myself in a committed relationship, some days I like the idea of having group sex, and I need to be okay with all versions of myself versus resisting, because that's the biggest problem in life. It doesn't matter like any emotions you have or any wants you have, it's when you resist them, like that's when you turn to drugs or alcohol, or that's when you treat people like shit. So I mean, for me, it's like just being open to the fact that, you know, I like many different things and I'm open to many different experiences, and there's so many amazing men out there to share them with. And that's the thing about settling down with a husband, is like, I'm meant to have many great loves of my life. I'm meant to have many great soulmates. I'm meant to have many amazing sexual partners, and that's been delightful to figure out at this stage in my life. Yeah.
Discovering what it is that you want it's like such a focus of what we do with Himeros.tv, not to make a shameless plug.
Which I love.
But discovering what it is that you want and then articulating that, like asking for it from the world, asking for it from your partners, the people around you, is like, that's hard for a lot of people. As a partner, when you're meeting up with these guys, you make the space where it's open and receptive for them to share what it is that they want. Like, how can you please them?
Yeah.
Tell me what turns you on.
Yeah.
And really make that open without kind of the shame and the guilt. And if you want to be peed on, like, tell me that.
Absolutely.
And I will receive it. And maybe reciprocate.
Yeah. I mean, that's all the stuff, like, I've done fisting, I've done pee play, I've done things that if you had asked me 5 years ago, I'd be like, no! But with the right guy in the right circumstances, like, again, I'm so into it. We've talked about feet. I'm so into feet. Like, I'm all into that stuff. The other main thing that what you were just saying, just to kind of piggyback on, is about communication and stuff, is I feel like a lot of times in dating, I acted like a version of myself that I thought the other person would like. Especially when you were trying to like bag a husband or grab a serious boyfriend. It's like, I better behave a certain way. And now it's like, I 100% of the day am authentically myself. So when I go on a date or I'm hooking up with a guy, I have no trouble being like, this is exactly who I am. Versus, a lot of guys, they date a guy for a year or 2 or 5, and then they're like, oh, by the way, I'd like a threesome. Or, oh, by the way, maybe I'd like this. It's like, say it from day one, man. Because otherwise it's like, oh, the old switcheroo. And then it's like, because again, I didn't sign up for this. And I think those conversations are way harder to have 3 years, 5 years, 10 years in. So it's like, when you start dating someone, like, just casually, like, what are you into? How do you, what do you want in a relationship? Yeah. And be honest. Do not be the version of yourself you think is going to please the person you're on a date with. It's like, because there's plenty of men out there who will love and adore you just as you are.
It sounds so obvious when you say it.
It
It's
sounds
like,
so obvious,
it's one
but
or
so
two, like,
I
you're
can
like,
tell
oh,
on
yeah,
dates too.
duh.
I'm like, you're just saying this because you want to date me, or you're just saying
Right.
this because you want to F me, and it's like, be you, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be way more attracted to you if you're honest about what you want from me.
You should be a life coach.
I am a life coach. Go to heymichaelbuckley.com. Not a plug, totally a plug.
Totally a plug.
Speaking of plugs, have you? I love you.
Well, thanks for.
You're a gift to the world. You
No,
add so much value to the world, and I love being your friend and watching you walk and talk this and educate, and we are so lucky to have you.
Well,
so,
I
thank
feel
you.
I feel very lucky to be friends with you. Well, thanks for chatting today. Check out, I'll put your website below and your YouTube channel.
Yes, and my video with us, and yes.
And all that, and we're going to talk about feet next. So,
thumbnail.
Thanks so much for watching, and as always, more to come.